Hello everyone, welcome back to another favourites video where I'm going to be sharing with you my 8 favourite things from the past couple of months. Actually, I missed one of these videos, but nobody cares, so let's get straight into it with item number 1, which is a fake tan. This is by Saint-Tropez and it's their Gradual Tan Tinted Everyday Tinted Body Lotion. I would say this isn't a body lotion because it's not really moisturising, it's more of a body gel. The consistency makes it quite unique. I don't know if you can see the colour there. It's a really great colour for me, very realistic, and it's got a kind of colour guide, so when you first put it on you can kind of see where you've put it and then it develops over a couple of hours. But what I love about this is it absorbs so quickly. It is very thick, it's like a thick gel, which means that there's less kind of liquid to evaporate, which means that it works into the skin so well and doesn't leave you kind of stood there freezing cold waiting for it to set for ages. Because I did used to love, I've discontinued it now, otherwise I would say I still love the Superdrug Build Me Up Tan, which that made your skin buttery, soft, smelt amazing and built up a really lovely gradual tan. But that one did take a few minutes to dry, so I would be kind of stood there butt naked with my limbs out trying to dry, whereas this one is much more of a quick fix. I love how it wears away. It's not kind of bitty and crumbly and it doesn't break up weirdly, it just fades really naturally. It is quite expensive, it's around 10 to 12 pounds I think. I did use it last week but I think it's probably faded. This is my natural skin tone right here. If I wanted to use it, it's really quick. It's not like one of those tans where you need to prep like the day before. You could literally use it the day of. My second favourite is actually the bracelet that I'm wearing right now, and I have mentioned this on Instagram and I've also got a blog post about this brand. The brand is called Susette and they make this ethical sustainable jewellery which uses 100% recycled metals, so like their silver, their gold, it's all from reclaimed old jewellery made into new jewellery, and the stones they use in like the jewels that they use in their jewellery are ethically polished, and the diamonds that they use are conflict free because they actually grow them. They grow them in labs. I'll link the blog post that I did on the brand down below, and actually I'll link the website down below because it's really interesting to learn about jewellery and like the jewellery industry and the fact that it's such a hidden industry still. With like fast fashion and beauty brands, we're pushing them to be more transparent, but I feel like with jewellery and jewellers there's not that same kind of push for more information, whereas I feel like Susette are kind of, they're very transparent. They connect you with the person who actually made your product, which is amazing. They really kind of gifted me this bracelet, but with the package they kind of send you who actually made and polished the piece that you bought. Christmas is coming up and if you're interested in getting some jewellery for someone, I highly recommend Susette, and I'll leave the name of this particular bracelet down below. I get so many compliments on this. Honestly, I've never been complimented more on a piece of jewellery in my life. Next up, a blush. So this is one of the Milani baked blushes, which I've definitely mentioned on my channel before. This is the Dolce Pink blush. And I know a lot of people love the Luminoso blush, which I also have and love. This is more of a peachy shade, whereas the Dolce Pink is more of a kind of like true pink. They're both beautiful, but the pink diffuses on the cheek so beautifully. It does have shimmer in it, but it's a very kind of beautiful lit from within shimmer. Actually, when I swatch it and look at kind of the golden shimmers, it makes me think of what NARS Orgasm, the blush, is trying to do, but it's a lot less chunky, this one. I don't really rate NARS Orgasm blush. They're not cruelty free anymore, but even back in the day I would like swatch it in store and try it on my cheeks and it just looks so chunky and kind of average. Like I don't get why there was so much hype around it. This is obviously cheaper and cruelty free and vegan. Also, I think baked products, they look amazing on the cheeks, they last a long time on the cheeks, and they last a long time actually in the pan as well, because you need so little product and you know such a perfect amount comes off on the brush that you don't end up wasting product. You can get them on Beauty Bay in the UK and they're so good. Item number 4 is a lip product, or technically 2 lip products, but it's like a lip combo. So this counts as one item, I would say. These are the Tropic lip products, but I have been loving their lipsticks and their lip glazes, particularly this lip glaze in the shade Candy Pop. Pretty much used it to the bone. This is gorgeous. It's the most pigmented gloss I have ever used. Such a lovely rosy pink shade. Oh, I think it's run out. You won't really be able to see it because it's pretty much run out, but I highly recommend this. But I've been using it in combination with the Wild Watermelon Kiss Me Quick lipstick, which is a really nice, it's a standard creamy lipstick, but this shade, it's beautiful. Rich and creamy, and do you know what? It reminds me of a lipstick that Essie Button would wear back in the day. You know Essie Button? Does anyone used to watch her? Estee Lalonde now, she changed her username, but it just kind of reminds me of her. She used to wear these bright, beautiful lipsticks. I think she liked using Buxom or Revlon. It kind of reminds me of her. in a nice way. I also love Go Go Goji. That one's more of a peachy shade. I also wanted to ask, what do you guys think of Tropic in general? Because one of my recent videos I spoke about Arbonne and how it's that kind of multi-layer marketing business model, and I'm just gonna wipe this off my hand because I know I'm gonna get it somewhere otherwise on my white bed sheets. That multi-layer business model where ambassadors are recruited to sell the product as opposed to it being in store and it's just like a retail model where you just go in store, pick it up and pay for it at the cashier. And somebody sent me a message recently, and it's actually something I've never really thought about. I've never considered Tropic as that kind of business model, like Arbonne, Avon, Unique, all those kind of brands. And it was a really good question because I kind of thought, I've always considered Tropic to be a really ethical brand because I love Susie Ma. She was on The Apprentice and I love The Apprentice, which has started again, by the way. It's so bad but it's so good. But yeah, I love Susie Ma. I love Tropic products. Honestly, I would not talk about them as much as I don't sell Tropic, by the way. I get like no monetary gain from Tropic at all, but genuinely everything I've tried I love. And I know it's so annoying when people send you messages like, hey girl, love your page, I like have a business, would you like to buy product from me, or would you like to be part of this business? And it's like Arbonne or Tropic or something. I know it's annoying. I know it is. I find it annoying as well. With Tropic, I think the products are really good, but you can just go on their website and order them yourself. You don't have to do it through an ambassador. So I feel like, why don't they just do a business model where you just buy from online? Because the problem is with multi-layer marketing models, they do prey upon, I guess, like really vulnerable people who can be tricked into spending a lot of money as an ambassador to, you know, keep their kits filled up and invest a lot of their own money in the brand and not actually get that big of a cut. I mean, I don't know how much of a cut Tropic ambassadors get, so if anybody does know, please let me know. I've never considered them as being unethical in that sense because everyone is so passionate about them being vegan and cruelty free and having genuinely great natural products that it's never crossed my mind before. But I'd love to hear what you guys think. Anyway, that was just a side note. I love this lip combo, but I would love to hear what you think about Tropic in general. The fifth thing that I've been loving over the past couple of months is very cliche and also very late to the show, but AirPods. These have genuinely not changed my life, that's an exaggeration, but I spent so much money on wireless earbuds, like cheaper wireless earbuds, that sorry, I don't know where I put them in, but they sit really nicely in the ear and they don't fall out, and the sound quality is great. I used to hate Apple earphones. They were so uncomfortable, the sound quality was absolutely balls, and they didn't work for me. So I spent loads of money on cheaper ones. These were £160, so I was like, I'm not spending that much on headphones. I did my research, I looked at loads of reviews, and I sent back the other ones and I took the plunge with these ones. And they're different to the ones I used to have because the ones I've usually used are in-ear earbuds, so they like plug your ears. They're like mushroom little cap things that go in your ears. Whereas these ones you can hear what's going on around you, which I actually really like because it means, you know, if someone says something to you, you don't have to be like, pardon? You can just reply whilst your music is playing, but you can still, you know, you can still have a conversation and it's not as rude, which was quite a problem. My mum would be like talking to me and I'd have my hair over my ears and I'd have my back to her, and then she'd think that I was listening and I just wasn't listening because I had my earphones in. As soon as you take them out and put them in your ears, they connect Bluetooth like wirelessly to your phone. It's the fastest connecting. I mean, Apple just know what's up, don't they? They just know. A book I wanted to mention, I actually haven't finished this yet, but I'm only halfway through and I'd say this is one of my favourite books I've ever read. It is called I Never Said I Loved You, and it's like a memoir, like an autobiography, but it's about the author's mental breakdown basically, or kind of like his depression, his journey in life, which sounds like really philosophical, and it has got some kind of like bigger ideas in it, but it's funny. It's like really sad and heartbreaking in parts, but it's written so well. Like it moves so quickly. If you struggle to get into books when you first start reading, if it takes you like 5 chapters to actually get interested in a book, that happens to me a lot, and this book had me hooked almost instantly. It's so well written. I love the narrative of it. He's so funny and so honest in it. And I actually heard about most of the books I hear about on Control Alt Delete, which I've said a million times before, it's one of my favourite podcasts, and she has some really great guests on there, and I listened to his episode and it was really, really good, and I was very intrigued, so I bought the book and I would highly recommend it. Each chapter is set out like how to keep going, how to remember, how to die, how to be in your body, so on and so forth. The ending of each chapter is a letter to a person. It's very, very honest and very frank, and sometimes I find autobiographies really boring, but this isn't like that. This isn't like, when I was 5 this happened, and then when I was 6 this happened, and then when I was 10 this happened. It's very well written. It's one of those books where I really look forward to reading it. Item number 7, I wanted to mention the Bakuchiol, didn't say that right, did I? Bakuchiol booster. This happens to me all the time. I know how something looks written down, but I never say it out loud. So when I finally come to say it out loud, I think, bugger, I don't know how to pronounce this. And I'm awful with pronouncing things. If there is a right way and a wrong way to pronounce something, I will always think in my head, which one is it, which one is it? And I'll go for the wrong one. So, don't know how you say this, but it is basically a natural alternative to retinol. So it's 1% bakuchiol and olive squalane as well. My skin looks better since I started using this. I've said this many times before, but I like to preface, anytime I talk about skincare, I used to have Roaccutane, or like for half a year I was on Accutane. So now I don't often get breakouts. But when I do, it's usually hormonal, or when I've been eating too much sugar or too much fried stuff, you know how it is. And the problem is, once you've had Accutane, your skin changes. And I don't know the whole science behind it, but anecdotally, my skin is thicker. Not metaphorically, this is like physically my skin is thicker. So say I have a spot here and I'm thinking, I'm gonna want to squeeze that. That looks ripe for the picking and I'm going to want to squeeze it. I have this rule, which I made up a long time ago. If you can squeeze a spot in 5 seconds and it will do its thing, then it was ready. If you push it to 10 seconds, it's probably not ready, and anything over 10 seconds, leave it alone. Just leave it alone. Put like some nappy cream on it and just leave it. But now that my skin is thicker for some reason, nothing will pop. Nothing will pop, even if it looks like it's sorry if I'm grossing anyone out, but even if it looks like it's perfect popping season, it's not gonna happen. So I have to turn to skincare. So I've been using a salicylic acid cleanser, and that's been helping a bit, especially with my, can you hear those children? A salicylic acid cleanser around my nose for my blackheads, and this has really been helping for my breakouts around my chin. I have also been using the Ren Skincare retinoid, the anti-wrinkle concentrate oil, which has also got bakuchiol in. This one's a lot more scented. I'd say if you're sensitive to fragrance, I recommend this one, but this one does smell like peaches. It's really quite pleasant. The Barbie boosters are just brilliant. I will say that I go through these quite quickly because they're quite small, but they do come in glass packaging, and Barbie have just restarted their Re-Barbie scheme, which is basically when you're finished with your boosters, you get a free returns label with any order, or you can just download it off their website, send it back to them, and they will sanitize that packaging and use it again. And then last but not least, I wanted to mention a music favourite. It's a very chill album. It's just, if you like Always, you know the band that is Always, but instead of a W it's 2 V's. If you like that kind of vibe, I think that album, I can't remember what the album's called, but like one of their most recent albums with the kind of bluey and yellowy cover, really good for revision just to have on in the background. And this one is a very similar kind of vibe. It's called Barry. Got an album that came out this year called Happy to Be Here. My screen is really dirty. Do you ever get it where you can't see the dirtiness on your screen, and then when you actually want to show it to someone, you realise how gross it is? Oh, also another one I've really been enjoying, you know the singer from Alabama Shakes, she came out with, oh my god, what is she called? Stevie? No, oh my god, what's she called? Sylvie? Oh, what is she called? That is really... Brittany! She's called Brittany. So close. So close but so far. She came out with a solo album called J'aime. Really kind of like experimental in parts, but also a bit soulful. I want to get a bit more into Alabama Shakes actually, because she's got such a great voice. I feel like I went through a bit of a music drought recently, so now I'm looking forward to discovering some new music. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. That's the end of my favourites video. I think those were 8 things. I think it added up to 8. It may have been a little bit over, but we won't tell anyone. But yeah, thanks for watching, and if you want to see some more from me, like, comment, subscribe, and follow my socials, and hopefully I shall see you very soon.